Now we talked about New Guinea. Now this is surprising. New Guinea, the Dutch New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, which is, kind of like the same situation we have in Hispaniola. We have one part of the island is the Dominican Republic, the other part of the island is Haiti. This is the same situation here. This island, it's only smaller than Greenland by a little bit. 1,600 miles of coastline. And most of it, they don't have even decent maps because Papua New Guinea was only inhabited by native people and nobody really wanted to know them. They were still running around in rather primitive clothing, hunting with primitive weapons. It was mostly jungle and a big mountain range in the center. Who the heck wants to go there? It wasn't even on most people's minds. Well, the Japanese had figured it out. You take the island, it's a doorway to Japan, to Australia. Now, issues with this. Imagine a place with 300 inches of rain a year. We complain about 160 inches of snow. I don't know, 300 inches, I think, of rain is a little worse than 160 inches of snow, right? When we have those bad winters. That's their average rainfall. So most of the island is thick jungle, almost impenetrable jungle. Who does that favor? It favors the defenders, the Japanese. And this is going to be a repeated chord you're going to see in all of these islands. If there's jungle, the Japanese have exploited it well. They've mastered how to make good defensive positions because they realize they're not going to be allowed to retreat. This island is going to be the perimeter. It's part of the Japanese defense perimeter, which I should have pointed out. All of this area from essentially over here around is a Japanese defense perimeter. To give anything back is going to become a problem for Japan because they're going to feel like it's an open door for the United States and the Allies to come in. So they're going to continue to look at that as an invitation to keep it strong. Now, we talked about the other issues. Rain, jungle, well, what accompanies that? Terrific diseases. Bivouac in a wet climate. And many of you that have been in the service, or maybe you were a scout and you got wet on a weekend, and you get cold, and then you get warm, and then you can't have good food, and you can't keep good sanitary conditions, everything goes downhill quickly. Malaria, dengue fever, typhus, dysentery, you name it, more guys were falling sick than they were falling to bullets. And that's a problem because it's demoralizing. First of all, when you're sick, you don't make a good fighter. And secondly, nobody wants to be around you when you're sick. Think about your morale in your unit when you're the sick one and everybody else is somewhat healthy. That's a problem. So that's going to be an issue that will continue to be part of it. Well, what happens? MacArthur is going to decide he has to make a move. Well, he's going to make the move. He doesn't have lots of U.S. troops to commit to this. So his next best bet, send people that know something about the place. Sends the 7th Australian Army to fight. And their whole objective, take Port Moresby back and secure this trail. It's called the Kakonda Trail or track, which goes over a huge mountain range to Buna on the other side. If you can secure this, you keep the southern part of Papua New Guinea out of the hands of the Japanese, giving Australia some breathing room. Well, to secure this, look at how many months it took them. 4 months to secure this. Lots of casualties. They find that the Japanese aren't going fast, and it's going to become a problem. Or this is going to be a problem. Now, one of the things they realize, America is getting rather complacent. Remember, this is not the television war. We don't have embedded photographers beaming back every night the latest war stories. Every photograph, every account has to go through what? Censorship. Well, they don't want, at least initially, to demoralize the American people by showing them lots of dead GIs laying on beaches and battlefields. So when they initially start taking pictures, they're sending pictures back of people in coffins with flag draped coffins and this sort of thing. They're not showing dead bodies. President Roosevelt started to feel that the American people were getting a little reticent, getting also a little hard to raise money for war bonds. Remember, we have to finance this. This is costing lots of money. This is not a budgeted item, folks. War is not a budgeted item. You don't usually budget for wars. Sorry, it's an off-budget thing. So he allows this picture to be run. This flashes in American magazines. And it's so devastating to see U.S. GIs washed up on beaches like this. And this causes a little disconcern between who? Our people. This is what war is like. And it's only going to galvanize people to move a little quicker on terms of we need to take care of that Japanese issue. Now, what prompted the next step, of course, we secure the southern part of Papua New Guinea. The next thing that's going to strike us is that on Guadalcanal, which is adjacent to this, Japanese are building an airstrip. Well, that airstrip is now going to be a possible place where strikes can come into Australia. And this is going to prompt the Allies to move even quicker. 1942, they decide that they're going to start moving towards Guadalcanal to eliminate this air base that the Japanese are going to be building and to get the Japanese out of there. And this is going to be part of a strategy that's going to be employed to get the Japanese out and begin an island hopping campaign. New Guinea was the first. Try to get New Guinea secured, but it's so large. Remember how large New Guinea is and how inhospitable the geography is. It's going to take some time. Well, you have Guadalcanal, which is adjacent to this. That's going to be a bigger problem. You just get back to that little map on Guadalcanal here, and you can get a feel for how bad this is going to potentially be. Now, up here, Guadalcanal, which is right up here with a little red spot. Actually further southeast of New Guinea. Well, this is going to prompt a response. They're now going to divide the theater into three, and they're going to put a new player on the map. Who's that new player? Admiral Halsey. So we're going to have MacArthur coming up from the southwest, Halsey from the southeast, and then we're going to have Nimitz coming across eventually from the east to the west, coming across through the islands. The idea is to kind of throw off the Japanese. And the decision to unleash Nimitz, we're going to talk about that a little later in the presentation.